Thank you very much. I think we can get started. And I would like to speak to you today about the future of governance and conscious leadership, as I believe that this is one of the most important subjects in today's world. I just want to quickly present the foundation, of which I'm a co-founder and CEO. It's called the reState Foundation. We're a Swiss-based nonprofit organization, and we'll look into the future of governance as the main field of our inquiry. So we have been in existence for about 2 years now. And in these 2 years, we have built a portfolio of aligned organizations who look at future of governance with the same curiosity as we do. Because we all believe that it's a key variable that affects almost any other sphere of our activity. We have worked with a lot of governance leaders around the world, and we brought the topic of conscious leadership and governance to a lot of different events. And the project portfolio, which we have accomplished, includes tooling for governance, building participatory tools for cities and states and communities to pick up. We've also built series of conversations and events discovering what it means to govern better. We have done a lot of thematic video content for those who are just getting familiar with the subject. And we've done a lot of research on different aspects of collaboration and governance. Coming up for us are several projects that I will touch on later. But I want to bring your attention to the essence of why we have decided to follow this path. One of our key researchers investigated the 6,000 years of human civilization to understand how we're doing in terms of technological development as humanity and also our moral development. And as you can see in this graph here, there is an appalling gap between the two variables. The technical and scientific capabilities keep growing exponentially, while our ethical and conscious development remain antagonizingly slow. So this gap is what we believe is the core issue that needs to be faced right now. Among the challenges, besides what I have just mentioned, we have identified the following issues. The world is increasingly divided, and there's no space to experiment with symbiotic relationships with mutualism, and the us versus them narrative keeps prevailing. So many conflicts in the world are the direct result of the identity conflicts, the conflicts between people who mostly represent specific groups. And so there are limited spaces to test alternatives to these systems. Secondly, the governance itself belongs to centuries ago. We are using technologies and tools from 20th, 19th, sometimes 17th century with the Westphalian system, with Montevideo Convention, with all the tooling that was relevant back in the day when those systems were created. Right now, governance is increasingly obsolete, and it does not really respond to the human needs and to the needs of the citizens. So that's another problem that we have identified. Thirdly, gloomy agenda in the media keeps exacerbating the growing gap and the sense of division between people. So we don't see a lot of optimistic visions that suggest alternative and desirable futures. And that, of course, takes its toll on how people perceive what's currently going on. And the fourth challenge is the very gap that I have addressed in the beginning, where our morality cannot catch up with the technological advancement. Now, what do we do with all this? We suggest the vision of united humans. And for that, we believe that next to United Nations, that we can allege is not satisfying the needs of international legal systems and could hardly help address the current challenges, our theory of change suggests that we might look into United Humans as an alternative that brings to the world peer-to-peer collaboration, where governments have a role to play, but we're operating based on the direct feedback from the citizens and where people could have more direct impact onto global agendas. So when you can be both the local community member and a global citizen, caring equally about your local communities, but also global agendas, that could be an interesting model to explore. And all the challenges that we face in the world right now suggest that it might be a good time for such experimentation. Now, what do we pragmatically do at reState Foundation? We tackle this from 4 different angles. First angle is called the new realities, where we bring together the foremost thinkers and system changers to understand how we can create alternatives to current economic, ecological, governance, and educational systems. One of our key projects is called the New Realities Design Lab, and that is a series of conversations where we bring these pioneers of alternative models together for them to brainstorm and mind merge and create frameworks that could work for the needs of the current realities. So that is something that we're unrolling next year. So I invite you to follow this space and contribute, because we will also have platforms where people could have input to this. We also do onboarding library for people who are just getting familiar with governance and collaboration and alternative systems. And we do the ABC of these ideas for somebody who is new to this world. We also do a few things on governance and technologies. Like I said, governance models are becoming obsolete, and governments around the world, unfortunately, do not make full use of the available technologies and what they could do to bolster participation on the citizen side. So for that, we have just released what we call the Future of Governance Toolkit. And this is a collection of about 50 models of participatory governance that is also inclusive and human-centric. And you can familiarize yourself with this collection of ideas. And we already have interest from communities around the world to try and adopt some of them. Here we have a full range of solutions from historical activities and indigenous populations, but also top-notch technologies like quadratic voting, quadratic funding, some ideas that are just getting tested around the world right now. For example, in Colorado, US, quadratic voting was just experimented with, and it brought really good results because it shows the intensity of people's preferences as opposed to just, choosing one candidate over another. We also are keen to have this toolkit implemented around the world for anyone who is trying to build their own governance models. And these days we can observe the emerging alternatives such as private cities, virtual countries, network states that are experimenting with alternatives to nation states and other more legacy solutions. So this toolkit that we have created could be used over there as well. So we're actually working from both ends. We're working with traditional governments and we're working with alternative new communities. And basically the discovery is that it's pretty much the same tools that we encourage everyone to use. We also explore visions that help people understand and move towards the desirable futures. The doom and gloom in the media and apocalyptic dystopian ideas are prevailing right now, to the point where people do not see how to move in the direction that we actually do want. And so through our series of conversations that we have just launched called the Library of Optimistic Visions, we are bringing people who have visions for something that we might explore together as a desirable scenario. And we have these people have conversations together. For example, we just recently had an episode with Vitalik Buterin of Ethereum and Sadhguru, the Indian guru, who tackled the notion of identity from very different angles. And so we want to continue bringing together unlikely conversational partners to explore solutions from different sides. We also do a lot of speaking and awareness building. We try to bring these agendas to conferences and events around the world. So we do quite a few speaking engagements, and we encourage for all of you actually who are speaking at conferences to also not forget that it's of essential importance that we bring in the societal and social agendas even when we speak at tech conferences. Finally, it's important to understand the human role because technology can only do so much, but on the quality of our leadership depends so many things about our future. So with the appalling 81% of leaders globally experiencing chronic anxiety, it's kind of hard to stay optimistic because our effective day-to-day decision makers lie in the hands of people who need some healing to do. And so we also try to address this by creating modules and programs and ideas for how leaders could use tools like mindfulness, trauma healing to understand themselves better and to be able to take their leadership to the next level, which we find very important. We also do events to promote listening as an ultimate democratic value. So for that, we have done initiatives like Right to Listen, where we bring together people. We teach them deep listening techniques. We have them deep listen to each other. And then they also listen to music. So we partnered with the Berlin Opera for this and had a series of interesting events. And also the ethics for governance with the current and future politicians are a topic of our huge interest. And we see with enthusiasm that these agendas keep popping around the world and is becoming of interest, which has not happened even 5 to 10 years ago. So with all of this, we're curating a community of people who understand and can speak to the subjects that I quickly covered. So going forward, we want to bring these agendas more and more to people's attention. We're an agile team, quite small, but we have supporters around the world, different organizations. And so I encourage you to follow suit and to join forces together to keep asking ourselves questions about the future of governance, explore models that are alternatives to what we currently have, so that we could see a desirable outcome for all of us. With that, I will hand it back to Taras. Thank you very much for inviting me, and I wish you a great day.